Yeah, I'm just going to replay Dell's stream from earlier. I missed it, so I was going to watch it on my own, but I thought I might as well just watch it with everybody. Yeah, I just thought. Okay, let's go.
Hello there.
Dell's
Can't believe
mic.
I'm back.
Mic lows.
Hello. It's been difficult. It's been difficult to come back, to be honest. I have been struggling for the motivation to come on live, to talk about any of this stuff. With other things going on in my life, and you know, it's, as I say, I can only say that it's been difficult to come back. I have to constantly address myself and ask why, and why I would even come back on here. But as I say, I put myself out there and I feel a little bit of responsibility. So I'm going to be on for a short period this evening. I do have plans to come back. I'm sick and tired of trying to talk to Joe blogs, particularly online. You know, at this point, the only thing I can say to people is that if you're still believing in the heliocentric globe earth cosmology, it is absolute childish nonsense. It's time for you to grow up. I don't have the patience anymore. I don't have the time to sit and argue with zealots. If you're that fucking gullible and that stupid that you want to believe in childish cartoons, that's up to you. I'm not going to be wasting my energy on any of it. However, what I'm going to be doing as we come into the spring is I'm going to be pushing even harder to some of these institutions like the universities, because I want a proper discussion. I want to address people who profess that they're scientists, that profess they're physicists, that profess that they are godlike figures who know all about our universe and our existence. It's time that these dipshits were held accountable. And that's where I want to put my focus of attention. Because right now as we speak, they're continually brainwashing children and pumping this shit out willy-nilly like it's the absolute truth.
Cycle, isn't it?
And it's anything but. As I said at the start, it is childish, backwards nonsense. And anybody that's defending it is, for me, I'm going to say it right now, they're at it. There is nobody with any, honest intellectual capacity and discernment who's looking at this whole cosmology that can maintain it without being dishonest. So the only people that I'm going to be interested in are those that can display intellectual honesty. Right? So as I say, I'm going to start targeting the universities. I'm going to start contacting physicists and whoever these people think they are as an authority on the matter, and we'll see how they go on. That's the only people I'm interested in speaking to right now. The online thing is so boring. It serves no purpose whatsoever. As I said before, it's useful for people to sharpen their tools, to comprehend where these people are coming from, how their argumentation works. And that is purely it. The globe earth, heliocentric cosmology is a language. It's no objective. It's a story, it's a religion. The only thing it has to support it is language. It has nothing else. People who are living their life, living in the practical world, experience the earth and reality for what it actually is. If you're still sitting there waiting for an external authority to make a decision for you, you're in the wrong place. I've got nothing to offer you, you've got nothing to offer me, and you're wasting your time and everybody else's time. Right? It's a religious doctrine. That's what it is. The only thing where the globe exists is in language. Nowhere else. So I'm going to hold these people's toes to the fire and see how they stand up under proper scrutiny. Because they get a free, buy. Nobody ever questions them. They walk into these universities taking salaries to spout and repeat absolute fucking garbage to the detriment of everybody. I hope you have been well. Well, the people that are here, I'm talking to the choir. You're here for entertainment purposes. You're not here to learn anything, because by now you should comprehend this stuff. You don't need me to repeat it. If you don't comprehend it from your own knowing, again, you're dead weight. You're of no use to anybody. I'm sick and tired of it. I put the title, A Purpose You Can Rest In. That little phrase came from the boy Ren, who has got a track, Hi Ren. I shared it in my community page. And I wanted to utilise that little phrase because that's exactly where the human race is at this very moment in time. Every single person is...
We do digest it, Del. We do get it, but it's, the way you put it into a layman's, understand it and digest it easy. That's why people like listening to you.
Clambering for a purpose that they can rest in. Right? The only purpose that I want to rest in is truth. I do not want an idea of my existence to rest in. I don't want to formulate a vision or an idea of myself to fulfill. I'm not interested in any of that. So what I would ask people is, what is your purpose? What is the purpose that you're finding that you rest in? Because I'm going to tell you right now, every single purpose that people live for is bollocks. Unless you're endeavouring to establish where you actually are.
Okay.
With a further view of establishing how we came to be, I'm not interested in you. The majority of the human race is suffering from mental psychosis right now. Mental illness. You don't know where you are. But you're searching and you're clambering for a semblance of something that gives you meaning and purpose. Taken in the context of that piece of art, the music from the boy Ren, taking purpose or resting in a purpose that creating something that gives other people some semblance of satisfaction or meaning to their life. But these things that we're clambering for, stature, notoriety, fame, wealth, they're
What I was saying, people listening, not because they're not digesting it, was the way they'll put it forward, easy for people to digest, kind of simplify. That's why we watched it. It's not about we ain't learning or getting it. Actually, we like listening.
Ideas that they're no anything that's rooted in anything objective. They mean absolutely fucking diddly squat. So if you're going to look for a purpose to rest in, I suggest that you look for that in truth.
Hey Ian, welcome.
Or else what's the point of your fucking life? Just to be dead weight? Just to grab what you can for yourself? Again, if that's your game, that's fine. It's not my game. And I think it's a sad state of affairs that human beings are in. Where are the warriors? Where are the people with a backbone? That take no shit? Where are they all? Everybody seems to be succumbing to self-service, virtue signalling. All these things are born out of insecurity, a desperate need to find certainty and to have some semblance of control, when the reality is you don't have any control over any of this. You are no God and you're never going to be. You're no the creator of this reality and you never will be. So all these human beings running about thinking that they can achieve or attain some sort of dominance over reality are pissing in the wind. It's not your fucking reality. You just find yourself here. And I suggest that you try a little bit fucking harder to establish where you actually are, before you go telling me or deluding yourself into thinking you know what life is and what your purpose is. Right now your purpose should be establishing where you are before you go searching for anything else to gratify your insecurities. Well, it's nice to hear that, Moonlight, that other people get it, because I tell you what, when you're in this position,
Hey,
it
Tony.
can feel very lonely.
Good evening, Rooster.
Especially when you look out into the world and you move about in the world and you're met and dealing with the most insecure, unintelligent, willfully ignorant fuckwits.
They're everywhere, guys. I'm
always willing to give people a chance, and I always naively harbour some hope that people are going to snap out of this. But all I'm ever met with is continual excuses.
Yep.
People are running out of excuses now. You've used your excuses.
I wonder what Dell thought about the old the UFO things and all the balloons, satellites. I wonder what Dell's take on that is.
I hope he's alright.
Probably just the same as ours, it's like a huge distraction, yeah.
Martin Healy, One Man Who's Detector, Imran Ali, G-Bird, Eyes Wide Shut, Zed himself, Stuart Lundy, Stu Henny. Without some kind of vehicle that could give us the vantage point to see how the Earth looks in reality, maybe one day. Maybe.
That sounds cool,
again,
Simon.
That's all born out of the idea that the Earth has given you this God complex where they project to you that you can have a view of the whole thing. So that carries over with people, and people search for the whole thing. Again, these things are born out of insecurity, they're born out of fear. You know?
Oh. What full truck is it, Rooster? Vintage truck. $100. Yeah. For a windshield.
Well, if I've helped people, it's not me that's helped people. You know, you help yourself. You have to be a person who's intellectually honest.
Yeah, you made people understand it. You have done it. That's a fact. You know, you've got to give yourself some props, man. Made a lot of people understand a lot of things about this. So, yeah.
And asking the questions internally. You know, I was talking about...
I didn't even think of the optic thing. Not until I started listening to Dell. I knew about perspective, but the actual... Yeah, so, Dell, man.
Earlier, unless you're somebody who is like that, you're never going to establish your true position. Nobody can give you that. I can't come on here and give anybody anything. I can only speak, you know, my internal dialogue, and if somebody can reflect on that or it triggers something in somebody, it's only because you were looking for it. Again, it comes back to this aspect of ownership and how quickly we create idols and speak and play to that as if it's a good thing. It's certainly not a good thing.
And cost $6 million.
I did speak about this.
$6 million.
I've spoken about it many times about the whole, you know, balloons and satellites and aliens. Apparently, I told you that they were going to push this narrative.
Oh, they was actually going to address it.
For a long time. Not because I'm a messiah or anything like that. Just once you understand the game, you can see where the game's gone. The whole game is about dominating you psychologically and physically making sure that you're restricted psychologically and restricted physically so that you're predictable and manageable. So they're running out of ways and methods, so they need other ways to unify us, to have an overseer, something bigger than us that unifies us, that keeps us in check. And they're not going to produce God or any of that sort of metaphysical stuff. So the next best thing is aliens, superior intelligence. They've been ladling and lacing you with that
I'm
for
not
years.
sure past
That
this. I haven't seen
psychology of accepting there's more intelligent people than you. There's higher authorities than you. There's other people better than you. There's this, right? So that's exactly the method that they're going to keep using. Aliens are more advanced. Look at these special flying
I'll give
ships.
you a wrench, Doctor.
Oh, we don't know how they work. And look how fast they're moving. The subliminal message is that they're super advanced, they're super intelligent. So you need to feel that, you need to bow down to that. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to communicate with your government, because your government has your best interests at heart. And the aliens know that. The aliens know that the governments and the elites of the world are superior angel-like beings, so they will communicate with them so that they can then tell you how to live your life, because you're too fucking dumb. Because people are childlike in their thinking. So it's very predictable. No surprise whatsoever. The invisible man in the sky routine is falling short. People are becoming, uneasy about all aspects of their life. They're being told now to distrust their government. Do you think this whole COVID thing is a deliberate display of the incompetence and the corruption of governments? And they understand that people don't take it to the core. Why are you looking outwards at any sort of authority? Why are people looking outwards from themselves to be told who they are, what they've to do?
It's crazy.
Who they've to be, who they've not to be, where they can go, where they can't go, what they've to think, what they've not to think. It's that people need to snap out of. It's all born out of this schism, Let me gather my thoughts here. I really struggle now with this. It's difficult.
I hope Dale gets his fire back.
It's hard to have the motivation.
It's tough. You do get unmotivated, especially Dale does as well. You're actually getting out there doing this, like activism, talking to people. Get the motivation, and then to find time to do streams as well. Fit it in. Yeah, Dale just needs the fire lit back under him.
Exactly, beyond belief. That video that I made, the Bringer of the Storm, which was a musical video, and I had that at the end, showing the globe and saying this was Project Bluebeam. That video's been removed. No explanations why. It was my own music. There's no copyrights or anything on it, but it's been removed. Same as a few other ones where there was no swearing, there was no, woke triggers within the content whatsoever, but it's been removed. I'm alright. I'm just tired of watching people clamber over themselves.
Hey, good evening,
in a
Bertie.
desperate panic to try and
Great to see you,
control and
dude.
dominate.
Berte's in the house.
As I say, human beings are no in control of any aspect of this reality. No human being created reality. So why the fuck are they trying to control it? And why are you trying to control it? Do you think you have control?
No. Have them. Hey, good evening, Carlos.
I've had so many things that I wanted to talk about over the last few weeks, and I get that moment of inspiration where I think I'm going to talk about this, and then it immediately just goes. Like the motivation just instantly leaves. I've really let go of the responsibility. So I was saying this to Andrew earlier. Part of this schism, getting back to what I was trying to say earlier, look at the structures that we have. They're constantly trying to make you think
Hey, good evening,
other
Liv.
people's lives, other people's subjectivity and goings on in their lives are relevant to you. They're not relevant to you. The only thing that's relevant to you is you and your walk. Everybody else's business is none of your business. Again, people are so quick to jump into a messiah complex and think that they're here for a purpose to save or affect or change or whatever goes on in their mind. Where do you get that? I says it right from the very beginning. I'm involved in this for selfish reasons, and I know that, and I have made no bones about that. My selfish reasons are I want to know where the fuck I am. The only chance of that happening is if you lot out there
Hey, Jay
wake the
Bird.
fuck up
Good to
and
see you
start
here, dude.
demanding the
Hold
very
on, let me
same.
just give you a wrench. Jay Bird's an old
Not
school.
because I
He's been
think I'm a
around, mate.
messiah or I want to save anybody or offer them any
Memory from
substitute
people back
or
in the day,
answers
Jay.
to their life or any of that stuff. Just very simple. I want to find out where the fuck I am before I even enter into any notions or discussion of purposes or, fabricated reasons for life. As I said before, if we're isolated in something, then fair enough, we can address that and we can have a think about a better way of having the experience of being here. But until then, I'm not really interested.
What it's about for me, where are we? That's what it's about for me. All the other stuff I
Do
do,
people
yeah, I'm
actually comprehend what I
about a
mean when
lot,
I say
but
that? This is
when
what
it comes to
bothers
this,
me.
I'm quite serious.
When I say this to people, does it actually register? When I say, I need to know where I am before I decide anything else about who I am, who I have to be, what life is, any of these things, they're secondary. You're born into this system that's telling you what's expected of you, what it means to be happy, what it means to be sad, what it means to be successful, what it means to be unsuccessful. Achieve this, don't achieve that. Failure, success. Again, I use the analogy. I hand you a board game and I don't give you any instructions. You're going to find a way to make a game, and it may make sense to you and you may find some solace in it. You may find some comfort in it. But the reality is that you're playing a deluded game. You've fabricated it out of your own fear, your own anxiety, because you're seeking to alleviate your suffering, your anxiety, your fear. And I think that's where it's rooted in people. You don't need a government to instill fear in you. I think the fear is more deep rooted. I think that there's a reality and a realisation that no many people are in touch with, that they realise, maybe from a young age, that you're not in control of any of this. And that sparks a schism in people, where they start trying to clamber to control. That's what happens when you take on ideas. Ideology is very powerful and very fucking dangerous. People think ideology, or maybe think when I mention ideology, I'm talking about religious doctrine, or spiritual teachings or philosophies or this, that and the other. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the very little things that you tell yourself about who you are or who you think you are, which are all rooted in where you think you actually are. Just like the board game. If you don't know the dimensions of the board game and you do not have the rules of the board game, you can make games up all you like, but you're never going to convince me that I have to participate in it until I establish what the board actually is and what the rules of the fucking board game actually are. You're born with that natural inquisitive nature, questioning, exploration, and that's been stifled. And that stifling has caused all sorts of crazy, wacky, psychotic behaviours to emerge. You're not equipped to live in the world of ideology.
I think he did it a couple of hours ago, Berto.
And an ability to explore the here and now. Not to fantasise about what you think it is or what other people think it is or what your role is within it. So it bothers me when I say that. Do people actually grasp it? Oh well, this is life. I'm just living life because this is life. This is the way it is. I'm Jimmy McGlumpher, and I'm a mechanic, and I've got a wife, and I've got 5 kids, and I go on holiday, and this means something. I'm a stand-up citizen in society. That's all very well if you're consciously aware of your participation. You're indulging in ideology. But for 99.9% of the people out there, they don't have that self-awareness. They've been programmed and think that it's objectively true. This is just life. This is the way I am. This is who I have to be. And a lot of people like that system because it works for them, but it's very, very few. The majority of people are discontent, unhappy, depressed, anxious, living in fear. These are all very, very useful symptoms that you should embrace because they're telling you something. The reason I know is because I went through it and I came to the realisation that I was chasing my tail, trying to fulfil ideas that were never born from me. They were ideas that were offered to me, put to me, that I then adopted and tried to fulfil. Well, no true. So if you're finding solace in a purpose, you're living in delusion. I don't care if it makes you happy for a year or 2 years or 10 years or 15 years. You're delusional. Getting back to the content I was referring to earlier with the artist boy Ren and this backwards and forwards with the good and the bad. You know, and people think that that's normal. Oh, we've got this internal dialogue of it's not normal. It's not normal. It means you're ill. But again, people don't know how to identify it. I'm going to tell you how to identify it. I know what it is. Because you never had that schism when you were a child. The schism happened when you started taking on board and reflecting outwardly to what everybody else was doing and what everybody else's feedback was. You made relevant other people's opinions and views of who you are. And because you took that on board, and it's an external source, you take it inward. So now you've created a schism, because you are you, but now you've tried to formulate yourself to fit into these narratives that you've taken on board. And again, it's very easily done when you're born into this system and you don't have anything else but that to reflect on. So you start outwardly seeking the approval of others. And this is why self-doubt creeps in. That voice of self-doubt is a reflection in the opinions of other people. And the structure has promoted that. You know, I spoke about it before. People watch the news, or read papers, or books, or look at articles about other people, other people's experiences, and other people's lives, and somehow they try to make that relevant to themselves. It's fucking lunacy. Total and utter lunacy. Yes, but I'm intelligent. I've read many books on other people's stuff. I'm a man of the world. I watch the fucking news. I watch CNN 24/7. I know what's going on. No, you're a little fucking sweetie wife, sticking your nose into other fucking people's business rather than focusing on your own affairs and realising you're a fucking mental midget suffering from fucking psychosis. Because you externalised yourself. You took on board the ideologies, the substitutes that are not the actual truth. The actual truth is nobody has an authority on life, what it is, where it came from, what we're supposed to do, where we actually are. Nobody! I would say depression's no. Depression's a very useful tool. Depression is when the natural part of you says, fuck you and your ideas. Fuck you trying to mould me to fit all these external ideas. That's what depression is. Again, I know because I went through it. Self-doubt, anxiety, worry, negative judgment on yourself because I externalised, I took it all on board, thought it was relevant. I need to find my place. I need to be like Joe Blogs. Joe Blogs is happy and successful, and in recent times that's been amplified with Facebook and social media because everybody's got a catalogue post. Everybody's living a windswept and interesting life. Look at me, I'm so fulfilled and fucking happy. No, they're fucking morons.
Just the face,
delusional,
most
selfish,
just
psychotic fucking morons.
Let's face it.
Why is it so hard to wind your neck in, to focus on your own affairs and realise that you know fuck all, and stop lending yourself to ideology? I'm supposed to do this now. Oh, I'm supposed to live like this. I'm supposed to be that person. If I'm not a success because they said so. We're all searching. But what are we searching for? Huh? I know what I'm searching for. Searching for the truth.
Yeah, this was a couple of hours ago, Big Pete.
No complex truth. No, the truth of the metaphysical realms and spiritual woo-woo and all that fucking stuff. Because I don't exist there. I exist here, within this reality. And all the shit that's been offered to me about what life is, what reality is, who I have to be, it's all bollocks and I'm not interested in it. So surely the search must be to establish where we actually are.
Or exploration. Tony?
There's nothing to search for in regards to the meaning of life, your purpose, all that idea stuff. You're only going to create a messiah complex within you when you think that you can control this or influence it or whatever. It's not your place. It's not my place. When I say that, I'm not talking to anybody specific. I'm talking in general. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I'm not going to mention their name, but I'm going to use the examples, of people who convince themselves that their purpose is an altruistic, virtuous, I'm going to alleviate people's suffering. If I can alleviate people's suffering, right? And my response to that was, it's not your responsibility. See, when I'm suffering, right, and when I was a child, I realised there was an opportunity that when I was suffering, people wanted to give me attention. And as a young child, I realised the power of that I could use that as a manipulation, right? But the actual reality is, in terms of true suffering, you know it as well as I know it, that nobody can save you for that. Nobody can alleviate it. Words, cuddles, blah blah. It doesn't work like that. You're not here to save anybody. That's not your responsibility. And the more you pursue that path, you're adding to the problem. You're creating a messiah complex for yourself. People have to take responsibility for themselves. I realised when I was young there was no satisfaction in, trying to alleviate my suffering by leeching on other people's affections and attentions. That game gets very, very boring very quickly. So again, that's an example of some of the purposes that people delude themselves into thinking gives them a semblance of meaning in their life. It's futile. My suffering's for me. I go through my own suffering and I come out the other end by myself. You are no my responsibility and I am no yours. The sooner human beings get that into their thick fucking skulls, the better. This whole system is founded upon that. Let's act like we're God. Let's act like we can dominate reality. It's ours. We can manipulate, we can dominate.
Yeah, that's a Scottish accent, Rooster.
I'm gonna rid the world of evils. Okay. Do you get what I mean? Do you get it? This is this kind of shit that worries me. That you don't actually get it at that level. It just sounds good. Oh, that big Scottish cunt, he sounds good. Oh, cuts right to the fucking bone. Oh, I'm going to repeat some of that. But do you actually fucking comprehend it? Are you actually in that realisation? Or am I just feeding you some fodder so that you can sound windswept and fucking interesting? To impress people so that you can be accepted or viewed by other people as somebody relevant and important? Because that's what the majority of people are clambering for. I am somebody. I have made a difference. Have you? Have you really?
Zero number. Big Dale needs to smoke some runts, man.
So I'll ask you again. Do you have a purpose? Have you told yourself you've got a purpose? I don't tell myself I'm here for any purpose. I'm just here in the now, asking questions. And that's the best place I've ever been. Not to offer up answers, because I don't have any fucking answers. All I have is questions. Do you think maybe your purpose that you were born with is to explore and inquire? Huh? Or do you think your purpose is to come here, stick your nose into everybody else's business and save them?
Good stuff, Rooster. In daylight moons, very interesting.
I don't even have, all this. Again, what I was talking about earlier, the system's constantly subliminally telling you that other people's lives are relevant to you. Like that, Joe Blogs wants to wear a dress. Transgenders, all this subjective stuff I have no interest in whatsoever. I see it for what it is, and when it's been promoted and elevated as something relevant, it's part of that psychotic behaviour again of constantly reminding you that everybody else's business is your business. Why are we even having discussions? Why is there, discussions and debates all over the fuck it? Again, as I've said many times before, debates are for ideas, ideology, subjectivity. So people debating about transgenders and all this stuff, they're telling you that they're mentally ill, and you should give it no attention whatsoever.
Hey, take care, Dr. Lark. OC.
The reaction is wanted, Chris F. E. Jackson, and as I say, for me, that's exactly what it is. It's a constant reaffirmation of relevance placed upon you sticking your neb into things that don't concern you. People are going to schools and demanding that teachers and the curriculum change because they don't want their children subjected to this idea and that idea. Well, here's the fucking thing then. You keep your own children. How many times have I got to go over this? When you register your child to a school, you're making a contractual agreement to abide by their curriculum, by their rules and regulations. And you need to remain in honour of that because that's what you fucking signed up for, regardless of whether you comprehend that or not.
Contract.
So the only control you've got over that is to remove the child and keep the child under your wing, just like all the other sentient life does. Are we in a creation? Yeah, I would say so.
Seems that way.
I mean, again, I can only go by my experience. I have never seen something miraculously, spontaneously appear from fucking nowhere for no rhyme or reason. I don't believe in woo-woo, pseudoscientific magic nonsense. like the Big Bang heliocentric cosmology wants to offer people. As I said at the start of this, it's childish, retarded bullshit. Of course, we're in a creation, but that does not allow people to start dictating about who created it, for what purpose, or any of that stuff. Again, I am not equipped. I am not a god. I am not the creator of this realm, and neither are you. Again, it's none of your concern. You're equipped with the here and now. You're equipped with the ability to discern your reality and to move through the reality.
Crazy, Simon. They're just
with
numbers.
A drive and a natural want to explore it and inquire about it. That's been shifted to exploring and inquiring about other people's subjectivity, or to keep you stagnated, inwardly focused on each other, divide and conquer. Again, people say that, but they don't actually get it.
It's that.
They've subverted your attention, inwardly focused on each other, divide and activity, or to keep you stagnated, inwardly focused on each other, divide and conquer. Again, people say that, but they don't actually get it. They've subverted your attention inward to the subjective realms. Yep. And you don't go anywhere. There is no answers there. There is no right or wrong. You've got expressions of the infinite, the whole, represented in every single person. You are what you are. You can't change that. They can't change what they are. It's of no relevance to you what they are, their subjectivity, none of it. But the whole system, the whole thing is constantly reminding you that that's where you have to place your inquisitive nature. Well, I'm an intellect. I'm going to debate whether feminism, transgenderism is useful and blah 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 blah. Who gives a fucking rat's ass about any of it? I'll tell you who. The fucking mentally ill.
The chance for Dell to sort of get out what he wants to get out as well, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's not always about
exactly
where we are. Dell
psyops
talks about a lot of topics.
You know, as you say,
yeah, it's a good way to.
They're being, you know, psychologically manipulated themselves. It's always others, and the focus is outwards. Exactly that. That's exactly it. You're no other people. You're no the transgender. You're no any of that stuff. You are you. Yeah. As I say, the stagnation of the natural inquirer, the explorer, is there for you to see. At the social level, you have to focus on everybody else's subjectivity. That's what's relevant. Politics, government, all this stuff. People trying to control other people. All born out of insecurity and fear. Right? Then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got science telling you that you've no to explore. None of that's relevant. Let's imagine what the macro that encompasses us is, or what the micro is that gives rise to it. Places that you have no access to. Other people's subjectivity. The macro that encompasses your world, your entire reality, and the micro that gives rise to it, that's outside your reality. That's where your attention's to be, and you cannot see that that's the stagnation, deliberately done so, because that's a psychological trick. What is it, Plato's cave? Don't look at actual reality.
You're never in the now.
Look at the shadows in the cartoons. Oh, look what we've created for you. Distract you.
Oh no, is that guy in that black suit type thing? I don't know what it was. He looked ridiculous. Ah, please don't say he influences you on a. I can imagine you
Even
in
like
that black suit riding your
COVID,
bike.
the vaccines, the boosters. I couldn't give a fuck. I'm only responsible for me. I'll make my choices, and so will everybody else. I'm not going to go out there and try and save them. People are making their decisions for whatever reasons in their own walk. That's up to them. It's none of my fucking business. Couldn't give a fuck about any of it. Just part of the distraction. Dale asked what question, what have I missed?
Any good stuff on Putlocker? On it?
Who is the creator? Why do you say who? Who? What do you mean by who? Like a human type imagining? I mean, I don't know what the fucking creator is. Again, it's not really my business. I am not capable of creating fucking worlds, realities. That's out with my remit. Again, wind the neck in. I ain't no fucking supernatural fucking entity. I don't have the ability to create worlds and realities and all that stuff. I don't even have the capacity to fathom it. The only responsibility I have is to comprehend this fucking thing, how it functions, because this is where I find myself right now. And I can use this thing to explore where I actually am. Yeah. Exactly, Trackmatic, as I said at the start of this, it's absolute childish fucking nonsense. And it's beyond childish. You know, I say that as an insult to children. It's mentally ill nonsense. Retarded. The dumbest of the fucking dumb. You said there is a creator, explain please, right? Do you think all this came from nowhere? Do you think all this came from nowhere? From nothing, from nowhere, for no rhyme or reason, just spontaneously, magically appeared? No, my reasoning does not allow for absurdities like that. My reasoning is there has to be a cause. Something caused this. Just when I say creator or created, immediately in people's minds they think that I'm making an affirmative statement to some deity that I think I know. I don't. It's based on my reasoning of the experience. Things don't spontaneously appear from fucking nowhere, like created. Magic, cartoon magic.
Created by what? Nobody knows. But it's created. Wait.
I can come to the realisation something created this. Something caused this. That's as far as it goes. That's it. I know that's empty for some people because people, again, through their insecurities and their need to control and have certainty, want answers. Why is it not enough for you just to realise that something created it? And that maybe You should face up to it and start asking questions and pursue what the reality actually is and see if that takes us anywhere. But we're never going to get any closer to that while we sit in the middle of it, inwardly focused on each other's subjectivity and trying to dominate and control aspects of the infinite spectrum manifest in all different forms of life. That's the Messiah complex.
Listen to Gav.
Fear. That's
the
rooted in you
optics
being scared.
was amazing stuff.
And you're feeling the need to try and know it all, to control it, so that you don't get scared and hurted anymore.
They'll earn Gav.
That's what that's rooted in. The reason I know that is because I've been there.
Hey, Rebel Music. Good evening.
John McLean, right, asking questions is good, but your questions are very fucking daft. If you're trying to say something, be more articulate on it. Right? You're not going to get me saying the creators this or the creators. I don't fucking know. And no, neither does any other human being. Regardless of how many fancy robes and big fancy buildings they have. That's just our smoke and mirrors. That's all entertainment.
Hey, good evening, MP.
For the gullible to consume, to give them a feeling of security and certainty. I'm quite comfortable saying I don't know. There's clarity in saying you don't know.
Gav is Dell's friend that comes on and they have very interesting chats. Great chats, I suppose. He made me think about a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to what you observe and
I spoke about
observing
that
through.
before. People opt for these ideas of creators.
Spot on.
You know, because they're looking at life and asking and wanting there to be a meaning that transcends the experience, rather than just being committed to the experience for what it actually is and leaving it at that. It's not enough for people. People need to fabricate stories and narratives about some meaning that transcends.
Oh right, yeah, that's more like it. What Upper put in there?
Meaning.
he's a
What are they
double
talking about?
honours degree graduate.
They're looking for some moral or ethical meaning, some spiritual woo-woo. Why can the meaning not just be the experience? What's the meaning of life? Just to experience it. And you can tell yourself whatever you want about it. You can partake in whatever you want, but it doesn't really mean anything. If I gave you a PC with some game world, right? You're getting into that game world to have an experience.
Hey, 5 artists in the house. Long time, Artez. Hope you're good.
It doesn't transcend into this reality and
Hope you're doing well, Artez.
On it, does it?
For ages, bro. Bloody hell. It's been a long time, mate. Hey, Dorian. Good evening.
Ideas that I could get on board with. Maybe the idea of standing in your own fucking 2 feet.
I remember Artest.
Responsibility.
He loves his old school hip hop. I remember you showing some albums. Was that you, Artest? That showed all your old school albums that time.
That you don't actually have true free will here. All you have is opportunities to reflect, to realise what you are. And to realise where you're encroaching and putting yourself out there as a dominance or an influence or any of these, idiotic notions of godhood that people grant themselves. People who
You
believe
had
that,
some real
that,
good
that this
outlooks
comes
there.
spontaneously
I
from
remember looking at
nowhere
them thinking,
and nothing
nice.
are absolute morons. They're retarded. It's stupid. You go to ask the
Quite rare
question,
ones.
well,
They
if
look
you're
like
going to
they were
take
in
that
mint
belief,
condition as well.
where does your reasoning come from? What is it in your experience that would grant you that belief? Nothing. It's retarded. Just trying to get a logical discussion, are you, John? I'm not seeing much logic here. You're asking me questions on things that I have no access to. So that's illogical. You're being silly. Exactly, Atlantis Rising podcast. That's exactly what I'm trying to say to people. As I was saying earlier about science, let's focus on the micro. What gives rise to reality? And what is reality encompassed by at a macro level? Trying to be God types that can get out with the experience to know it as a whole. It's fucking dumb and it's stagnating. It holds everything back.
Shackles around the mind.
This is why we have so much dysfunction. We have so much mental illness, depression, suicide, drug abuse, blah blah blah. Because human beings are trying to fulfill ideologies. They're taking on board ideas of life, who they are and how they fit into it, and they're trying to make it fit. The symptoms are everywhere for people to recognise, but it's taking its time for people to recognise it. I don't know how long it is before people amuse themselves to death with this shit. I'm tired of having the discussions. They're of no use to anybody whatsoever. We don't exist in other worlds, other realms, metaphysically or dimensionally or any of that stuff. It's nonsense. Useless.
I used to watch Brian Harvey, but he gave me a strike.
It's like setting out on a path, like, let's go and do the West Highland Way.
So I made loads of
But as
memes
soon as we
about it.
take one step, we stop and we start meandering in our thoughts about where it goes, how did it get here, what's the meaning of it. Oh, let's formulate churches and we'll talk about it. And we'll create institutions where we give scholarships to people who can come up with the most windswept and interesting mental gymnastics, imagining what the path is and where it goes. Ugh. We'll call that life. We'll call that civilised living. You just walk the fucking path. You just explore the journey. And then you find out more. But if you just sit back and go on tinterwebs and read philosophical mental gymnastic meanderings and religious books and oh, I'm meditating, I'll imagine the fifth dimension. Oh, you're a fucking imbecile.
I played one of his videos once, Rebel, and he gave me a strike for it.
Aye, people like that, David Wilcock, I'm a psychic. I know what the whole universe is.
That Wilcock he's so annoying. One of the most annoying guys. Can't believe I used to listen to him years ago.
I'm Edgar Casey reincarnated. Ooh. What fucking use is that to me, David? Yeah? How does that progress anything? Fucking does not. These people are opportunists. They're preying on people's gullibility, people's fears, people's psychology, so that they can gather what they want for themselves. They're predators. People who are telling you about life and what it is and how you have to behave and how you can make it better and all this stuff. They're gurus. They're fucking mental midgets. Snake oil salesmen. Unless one of these people sits down in front of me and says, right, see all this stuff, it's all useless. We don't even know where we are yet. But we're talking about concepts of life and how to live life and blah blah blah. Again, the symptoms are everywhere. If you think you look into this world and people are fulfilled and happy, you're mistaken. You're very, very wrong. People are no happy. They're no satisfied. People are depressed. People are in anxiety. People are in drug addiction. People are displaying all sorts of crazy behaviours. And these are symptoms.
I'll take a look.
Symptoms of their own doing. Because they're externalising, they're taking on board all this
I remember
ideology.
some of the things you used to present was all the old stone structures.
Trying to make a semblance of
these
sense out of it and find a place within it that gives them some feeling of meaning and belonging
some of those
and all
videos,
this stuff. I know it's very harsh, but that's the truth. I don't come here to bullshit. I'm telling you the fucking truth. The reason I know it's the truth, again, not because I'm a guru or I read a book. It's because that's the experience. The experience tells you that. If you're paying attention, it's telling you. Oh, but there's evil in the world and I need to control it. We need to eradicate the evildoers. That evil is within you. You are part of the spectrum. It's not about shutting it down, controlling it, dominating it. It's about comprehending it. Turn and face it. Anyhow, I need to ease myself back into this. It's like getting back to the gym. You know, I can't just come back in and do a 2-hour session.
I'll take a look for you, sure.
I need to work my way back up. But I'm back.
I'll deal with back.
I'm not wasting time with zealots online. I'm not interested. You know, the last contact I had for any zealot was that fight the fat tits again, telling me that he's formulating a contract and all this stuff. But I've not to disclose where he lives and I'm having bodyguards and all this insecure. Again, people show you who they are.
It's always open. People to come in.
I'm not interested in these fuckwits. I don't need, validation for them. I don't need to convince them of anything. I don't need any. If you're participating in any of that stuff, you're part of the problem. You should know what you know from you, off your own back, from your own experience, and that's the only thing that's relevant to you. You shouldn't be taking on board other people's experience. Words, it means nothing to you. Unless you're self-reflecting and you come to the realisation through your own process, then you actually know. You have never debated anyone, we all know why. That's because I'm not a mental midget. I don't debate people because I don't have any need to prove myself.
Pointless.
I don't have a want to influence them or change or convert people because I don't have a messiah complex. So I would consider myself a very sane, balanced individual. Debates are for the needy and the insecure. Those that need validation by converting and convincing other people of their own ideology. Debates are for ideas, concepts, imagination. Reality requires no debate. It is what it is. So, if you think you've got what it takes and you want to have a discussion with me, again, I'm going to put this out there. I will come to you. I will come to whatever location you want. You can film it, you can have whoever you want there. I will come alone, I will film it for my benefit, and I will not edit any of it, and I will show it for exactly what it is. I don't care what you have after your name, PhD, scientist, physicist, this, that, the other. I dare you to call me on it. I dare you to contact me. I will be there in a flash.
Who was the guy that debated Dan the Waterman? That scientific guy said he would let anybody about. If he would be. That would be an interesting one.
No online begging for money. Zealotry. No interested in it. No interested in it whatsoever. I'm only interested in rational people who can discuss their reasoning and articulate the reasoning that they have for why they make the affirmative statements that they do. If you can do that, then I'm on board. Get in contact. If you're a zealot, a fantasist, a needy, insecure fuckwit, I'm going to absolutely ridicule you and shit all over you and embarrass you. Because that's what you deserve. I'm a reflection for you to realise your own fucking stupidity, your own flaws. And I will be that mirror. Absolutely no fucking problem.
Yeah, Dan debated some guy. He didn't. They were just talking. But the science guy.
Right. I'm out of here.
I've said that he would talk to
See
anybody.
you very, very soon. Take care of yourselves.
Oh, this is done there, guys. All right. Let me back. All right, guys. Have a great evening. I will see you next Thursday. I thought I'd watch this with you as I was going to watch it anyway. So, all right, guys. Take care.